the protest that took place last week, as you would know. But please allow me at this point in time to talk to you about the city manager nominee that we are now in the process of finalizing. Now, you would appreciate the fact that when we took office last year, the then city manager decided to resign on the spot, and I've never seen Mr. Ngobeni ever since the day that he decided to resign. And that pushed us to then look for an acting appointment so that government does continue and doesn't come to a halt. And therefore, we then decided to employ Ms. Lindiwe Kwele on an acting basis for the duration that we were advertising and then starting the process of interviewing for the candidate of the permanent city manager. Now, last year, in November, we've asked for an extension so that the panel, which is a multi-party panel, including an external expert, Professor Van Rooyen, who was also part of the panel, to apply our mind so that we will then make a decision that will be the best decision that will see this city and the strategy and the vision that we have coming to fruition. So we needed somebody who we can trust to make sure that that vision that we have will become a reality. Therefore, we went to council in November, and we've asked for an extension up to the end of January, which we were granted. And now we're in a space where we are ready now to go back to council, to then announce to council or to put to council a name forward that we are hoping that the council will approve, so that we can, from the 1st of March, have a permanent city manager appointed by the city of Tshwane. The person that we have decided to, as a panel, decided to put forward as a candidate or as a nominee for council's approval is Mr. Mweketsi Emmanuel Musola. Mr. Musola is a brand management and communication expert who has worked in the hospitality and sports management, and also was the CEO of Imperial Holdings Tourism and Passenger Transport Division. Mr. Mweketsi is somebody that also had been the CEO of South African Tourism from 2004 to 2009 and was responsible for the African Tourism Brand Development Strategy and Business Plan. And he was also the COO from 2001 to 2004. While CEO of SA Tourism, he was jointly appointed as acting CEO of the International Marketing Council, now known as Brand South Africa. Prior to joining SA Tourism, he was the Chief Director at Tourism and Development, and also at the Department of Environmental Affairs and Tourism, based here in Pretoria. Mr. Musola also holds, following academic qualification from the University of Pretoria, he also has, he holds is busy finalizing his doctoral degree in philosophy and in human movement science, the business of sports, which is now busy currently finalizing. He holds a master's degree in economics from the University of Houston, Texas. He also holds a BA neuroscience and psychology that he obtained from Berlin College in the US as well. I mean, his CV goes on and on about all his achievement, his academic achievement from Harvard Business School, from the UCT Graduate School of Business, from VETS as well, and again from Institution of Public and Private Partnerships. So we have really applied our mind, and after subjecting all the candidates through a psychometric testing and a series of interviews, we came to the conclusion that he will be the best person to put forward to council for council's approval or ratification in tomorrow's sitting, so that we can have a permanent city manager employed. From our side, we're looking forward to working with him and engaging in some of the more challenging issues that are before us and some of the most exciting projects that we want to roll out in this capital city of ours. We are confident that Council will confirm his nomination and we can continue the work that we have already begun, and that should be done in earnest. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Lindiwe Kwele, who stepped up to the plate and served as the acting city manager, as I said, after the resignation of Ndate Jason Ngobeni. For that, we are so grateful, and we will continue to support the endeavors, as she resumes her role as the deputy city manager, as a position that she held before being asked to act as a city manager. Let me talk about the unprotected strikes that we've seen creeping up since the beginning of the year. One of the things that I said, and I will say again, that we will not tolerate. We will not tolerate lawlessness in our city. That is something that we will not tolerate. We will not tolerate members who are aggrieved and who are not following processes, but who decide to kidnap and hold hostage senior management and other personnel of the city. We will not tolerate those who want to bring a city to a standstill because of political agendas that they are being made to push. We will not tolerate a situation whereby members who are aggrieved, instead of engaging in a fair manner, will actually take to the streets and threaten to demolish or to damage city property. That cannot be tolerated. There are systems that have been put in place to make sure that those who are aggrieved can follow those systems in order for them to get relief. Now, what happened last week was that the acting chief of finance, or the CFO, chief financial officer, sorry, was locked into the building in the CBD with other officials as well, purely because people wanted to be employed on a permanent basis. Now, I've made an announcement before that mine is to seek a way that we will be able to permanently employ some of the people that have found themselves so indefinitely on contract. But I said that I need to do that in a responsible manner. A responsible manner meaning that what we want to do is to see what will be the cost of incorporating people on a permanent basis. And we've already seriously and in earnest taken that promise that I made forward, where it's now sitting at the LLF, where the unions and the employer is actually sitting around a table and looking at the staff structure that we have. So we are already dealing with these matters, and I've addressed this with the people that have been aggrieved. But we understand that politics are now playing a major role in what is happening here. But what is more interesting is the target seems to be the collection points of the city, where the city is actually collecting revenue. So that to me amounts to economic sabotage. If the city is not able to collect on revenue, then we cannot deliver on the promises that we have made. And now we're finding it very interesting that that becomes now the target of where these people will go and block areas. People in Hammanskraal have been told that the only place that they can pay their bills will be in the CBD. But when people come into the CBD, they find that the CBD, the 373 building is already blocked. They cannot access that. So that now becomes an issue that we are taking very, very seriously, and we want to make sure that we deal with, and we do so decisively. There was an issue that has been raised about one of the managers who has been and I will say this, that it's alleged that the manager has used racist words against subordinates in that particular department. I've asked for a full investigation to be conducted, and if indeed the said manager is found to be guilty, that action be taken. One thing I will not tolerate against any person who's an employee of the city is racism. Whether it's coming from a black person, or it's coming from a white person, an Indian or a colored person, it will not be tolerated. So we've said that a full investigation needs to take place. But while we're doing that, people have the right channels to follow. And the right channels should be that you lodge a grievance, and then it goes through the grievance processes, and the investigation will then, reveal what is the truth, and we can deal with that in that particular space. So I want to say that, lawlessness is something that we cannot tolerate in the city. I don't understand how people walk into a public office and start stripping and saying this is a protest. Mewamutse walks into an office and starts stripping and saying this is a protest. That's not how you get my attention. If you want to get my attention, you set up a meeting, we come, we sit down, and we talk about what is your grievance, and we come to a conclusion. So if you are saying you want to demonstrate and you want me to employ you on a permanent basis, but you walk into a government building with a mattress soaked in petrol that you intend on burning, how is that supposed to then get my attention? The only attention that it will get is me saying that you will not be employed you will not fit to be an employee of a city, because the city that is supposed to employ you, you're ready to damage and to really what is the word that I'm looking for? You're willing to destroy the property of that particular city. Therefore, I don't think that, that is the kind of way that we should be approaching this. The right way should be that we sit around the table, we engage, we find a permanent solution to the problems that I've already committed to finding solutions to, and we're in the process of finding the solutions to those. Now, it also gives me great pleasure to announce that we are in the process of finalizing our IDP process, the Integrated Developmental Plan for the city, which will then see a new blueprint, if you like, for the next coming 5 years in terms of what it is, what programs we'll be engaging on, what communities are saying to us. Is something that we are already now starting to do. We're engaging in our community with our communities right now, where we're going to our communities and we're listening to them. They're telling us what it is that they want to see in the capital city, what kind of projects they want to see happening in their respective wards, and we're in the process of compiling that, which will inform the adjustment budget that will be taking place from February, and that will also inform the new financial year, which will start later on during the course of the year, as we will then be preparing to deliver more and more services to our people. So we want to thank all the officials, and we want to thank all the councillors that are participating, and members of our communities, the VIPs, for raising their concern, for raising their wishes with us, so that we are able to then deliver on what the people want, not what we think the people want. And that is something that the IDP process is aiming to do this time around. So we're not just doing a box-ticking exercise, but we're in earnest listening to what our people are saying, and we will respond accordingly. Obviously within the means of what we have as a city, but those are things that we wish that we begin to start addressing as soon as we possibly can. That, ladies and gentlemen, brings me then to the conclusion of what I had prepared for you today, and I am ready to take questions from yourselves.
The Executive Mayor, you can direct the question to either myself, if you do have a question for me, or the Executive Mayor, and I will take a round of 3 or 4 questions, and then let the Mayor answer, and then take another round. Yes, if you can just give me your name and media house.
My name is Malu from EFK. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to understand how many people were Mr. Mosolo was up against. It would be interesting to know how many people was up against. And also, if you can also help us understand the process. Thank you.
All right, we received quite a lot.
Just want to take a few more questions.
Okay, let's take a few.
Yes?
Mr. Mayor, tomorrow how are you planning to curb any violence or disruptions that may take place from the opposition, the ANC, if they do not agree with the nomination of Mr. Msimanga as the city manager of Msimanga? What then happens afterwards if council, for example, clashes and the delegation?
Yes?
My question is basically the same as to what measures
Okay, let's respond to those and then we'll take the second round. Okay, Sam?
Yes?
Have you lobbied the EFF to vote with you on this?
You're sneaking something in right now. Okay, let me start off with a question by Malungelo. Malungelo, we had, I kid you not when we say close to 100 CVs that had been submitted. But obviously then you look at the criteria of qualifications, you look at psychometric testing that actually took place, which is prescribed by law. At the end, we ended up interviewing 10 people. We interviewed 10 people, and 5 were shortlisted. And out of the 5, we actually then did individual scores. And out of those individual scores, then we came up with the name that we came up with. So it was a very, very robust, deliberation that we had to go through and process that we had to go through. And maybe this will also begin to answer Sam and Maschaba's question, or Sam's question relating to the EFF's involvement in this. For the first time ever, the panel that we used was a multi-party panel. So it's not a solely Msimanga panel that made the decision. We had ACDP, we had COPE member there, we had the EFF member there, we have an external member who's not affiliated to any political organization, but is coming from an institution and is referred by the institution. And we had members of, obviously, the DA as well. So, and before they even came to be interviewed, they were subjected to psychometric testing as well. So that's how we make sure that, we get as many people, in the process so that they can see that this is not part of the cadre deployment, but we're serious about getting the best person to do the job. So that's how we've opened this up. Now, you've raised the issue of the council disruption. Well, it's almost becoming a norm that we'll get there and council will be disrupted, and we're expecting that tomorrow we'll still have the same. We'll have people calling, points of order, and we'll call a point of order on a point of order, and we'll call a point of order on their own members, so that we are there and it keeps dragging on and on. But as I said, I'm resolute on the fact that council business needs to continue so that service delivery can continue. So whether I have to sit there until the next day, we will do that. But at the end of the day, we will go and ensure that council job continues so that we can get to a point where we're dealing with the council matters, so that we can get to a point where we are dealing with delivery of services for our people. So whether the EFF will vote with us, they were part of the process. They had been part of the process. They had been informed of the process right from the beginning up to the very end. Even members of the ANC had been informed of the process. Remember, we had to take this process to council before even rolling it out. Therefore, we've done that, and I'm hoping that the process will be given, the benefit of doubt to be a fair process that had been embarked upon, and therefore shouldn't be a process that will see us sitting there for 7 hours and talking about, the nitty-gritties and how this came to be and all of that. So whether, the name will be accepted will be tested tomorrow. But it's something that we do believe from the panel, the multi-party panel, that we did the best that we could with the talent that really was presented to us.
What then, if they know what then?
Well, then we subject it to a vote. Democracy will need to be the winner at the end of the day. So we subject it to a vote. If there are genuine concerns, we can look into that. I mean, if there are genuine concerns, maybe you know something about the candidate that I don't know of. Those are things that can be brought up. And if they're tested and they're found to, warrant some investigation, that can be done. But we are not just going to not appoint somebody because he's not a friend or is not coming from a particular organization.
Okay, and just to augment some of the mayor's remarks in that regard, what I want the public to understand through you, my colleagues in the media, is that if you look back in a very retrospective manner, there have been so many disruptions in council, but as at the 12th of December, as we elucidated some of the progress that we have made, is that we aren't being deterred by these delays or these obstructions that happen in council. Yes, there may be some delays, councils may sit on for a long time, but the progress in council, and council is doing its business. I want that to be very clear. And in the statement, I've also attached the 12th of December statement on the 100 days progress, that every sitting of council since the inauguration, since it started its business post the August 3 election, progress has been made. And I don't want us to lose sight of that, and I want us to also encourage the public that progress is indeed being made. I'll take the next round of questions. Rory?
Looking at experience of our nominee for the experience in tourism, why is that we're really shaping this hiring someone for tourism experts? And did the other shortlisted candidates have similar background in tourism? Why do we not experts?
All right. Thank you very much, Rory. We're not looking at just experience in tourism. His experience goes beyond that. I mean, he's been the engineer behind Brand South Africa and how we put Brand South Africa to the fore. You'd remember what I said. Mine is to make sure that we create a number of things. One is that we need to create an environment where we begin to attract investment into our city. Mine is to make sure that we attract investors that will also ensure that we create a lot of job opportunities. And yes, tourism forms part, not everything, but forms part of what we want to drive in a city as well. I've mentioned a number of times, even during the campaign, you'd remember, I've spoken about all the gems that we have in our city that we need to put on a global stage to ensure that we attract visitors into our city that will come and also, spend their money here, spend their time here, which will then, in return, generate more income for the city, generate employment for, in the tourism space. But that's not what we're only looking at. And one of the things that I said we will not do is that we will not look at this as a cadre deployment. We'll not look for one of the cadres. We're looking for somebody with a fresh mind, with a fresh perspective, coming from the outside, who will bring then new ideas into what local government should be all about, obviously within the framework that is prescribed by the relevant legislations. But we are saying that we want to give a fresh thinking, a fresh way of doing things into this organization. And we're very encouraged by where he has been and everything that he has been able to turn around and the successes that he has left in all those relevant organizations and departments that he's worked in.
Yes.
I know you have mentioned the fact that the city is aware of the plan to disrupt the revenue collection. But I'm told that it's even deeper than that. The December bill hasn't yet been issued, and the January billing as well is not going to come through from the source. I've seen it from my friend. Now, what is the council doing to normalize that important sector of the council, which is the blood and the revenues?
Okay. Well, I don't know what December bill hasn't been. I received mine in December.
In the social government
I am not aware. As far as I know, bills did go out, and it's something that I will need to check. But as far as I know, we have been sending out bills. And people, what we didn't do in December is we had halted the electricity cuts due to non-payments. Call it a bit of a Christmas gift. We decided that we're not going to cut electricity or disrupt services, for those that didn't pay in December. But that doesn't mean that now in January we are not going to continue to go back into doing that. So we are now in a space where we are again going in and sending out those final demands for those that are not paying, and we are dealing with the matter of cuts or disruption of services to those that are not paying. The bills will go out as prescribed and on time. What we will also ensure is that those that are responsible for meter reading, if they want to embark on an illegal strike, that we deal with the matter and we view the matter in a very, very serious light. And that, we cannot allow a situation where people just embark on illegal protests and illegal strikes. So we're viewing that in a very, very serious light, and we will be dealing with that in the strongest possible manner. We've engaged with those that are leaders and representing them, and we've given them what our plans are. We've asked that the people then return to work and to ensure that service delivery is not disrupted and the collection of revenue is something that is not hampered. But we have seen an effort by others to ensure that the bloodline, as you said, is actually stifled or cut off, so that we are not able to collect the revenue and we are not able to deliver. And that is something that we're very much aware of, and we're putting measures in place to deal with it.